The next station will be Fortuna 69.
Those of you who have been paying attention this year might remember this post made by DE Rebecca a long while back, where they formally announced the retirement of the guides of the Lotus program. I could simply sit here and talk about how that was a decision that should have been made years earlier, but that's not the topic here. Considering that we still have not been given any new information regarding this new program that is intended to replace the GOTL program, I am here to simply talk about how and what I think a better replacement should look and be like. For starters, a key point of this new program is that it will be open to everyone, meaning that anyone, even the average Timiteno, can decide to help other players. The kicker is that a commendation system will supposedly be in place, which reminds me of the honor system utilized by League of Legends. Because Warframe is a game that's synonymous with being as efficient as possible thanks to how grindy it is, there's always the possibility that players will attempt to farm the system as much as possible, in order to either easily acquire any potential volunteer-related cosmetics, or to brag about how quote-unquote helpful they are. In my opinion, a volunteer-based program should not reward the player, purely because if you're the type of person that has to ask what reward you'll get for deciding to spend 10 minutes helping another player, then volunteering likely isn't for you. The community in game is kind of already known for being relatively helpful, so suddenly demanding rewards for something we've literally done for the past few years would only make us appear to be disingenuous. However, given that this new program will be open to literally everyone, having a cosmetic based from this might not be such a bad idea, because if anyone can get it, then nobody can really complain about not having it. If anything, I think that DE should take notes from the Professor Specs item from Team Fortress 2. If you're one of the few who doesn't know, the Professor Specs item is a cosmetic that is given to you once a free-to-play user refers to you as the most helpful after upgrading to a premium account. Any further referrals only increase the amount of users helped. This type of approach for a cosmetic in Warframe would be reasonable, because not only would helping only one user be enough to acquire the cosmetic item, but there's really no way to brag about having it, apart from simply having a high number of users helped, in which case, that just seems more like a pissing contest than anything else. Flexing on other people over all the people you've helped just comes across as being completely redundant. Regardless, the cosmetic item in question I imagine would most likely be a sigil, given that sigils are the easiest cosmetics to implement to the game compared to something like a Syandana. However, if the new program does indeed bring with it a sigil that keeps track of how many users you've helped, then it's likely that the sigil itself would change based on how many users you've helped, similar to how the Stratos emblem badge changes every single time a player completes a tactical alert. Additionally, instead of a cosmetic item, a simple badge could be added to the game that keeps track of how many users a player has helped, either through a number count or by visually changing for every 10 users or so. The point is, this new program cannot make the same mistake of having exclusive cosmetics like the guides of the Lotus program did, because exclusivity will only result in people having a subjective feeling of superiority over a simple cosmetic item. Even though the new program will be open for everyone, giving a select few players or the most helpful players a special or exclusive reward just for having a subjectively high number of users helped will only result in players treating the program as less of something helpful and more of something you can farm to make you feel better compared to everyone else, and that sort of defeats the purpose of the program. The entire point of a volunteer-based program is to help others, not to expect, demand, or ask for a reward. Those who are actually doing it to help others shouldn't expect to be rewarded for doing something as basic as running a new player through Jupiter. It's also important to ask how exactly this commendation system will be made. Last year I made a suggestion for something I call the mentor program, which basically boils down to giving players below a certain mastery rank the ability to push a button and request assistance from a new player, which would cause a random volunteer to be immediately added to their squad. To be honest, that just seems like an unnecessarily complicated solution to a simple problem, considering that simply creating a new player chat would be a far easier solution. A new player chat would be visible to all players, but only those who are mastery rank 10 or below would be able to send messages in this chat. That way, people could choose to watch over new player chat and simply whisper whoever requires assistance. Then again, that's just me. Overall, I'm personally curious as to how or what this new volunteer program will play out, because if it's an actual improvement over what the Guides of the Lotus was, then helping players could actually become endgame. Thank you for watching.